everyone. A successful business proposition is all about setting yourself apart, moving ahead of others, becoming unique and innovative in whatever you do. It is also about drafting futuristic strategies, discovering new potential, new opportunities, and new possibilities. Becoming instrumental yet focused in order to shoot an arrow towards a specific goal. And this all is driven towards a point where we have a customer standing happy and satisfied. And that is the real joy. Today, I am with a person who is a kind of successful leader in the industry and has shown to us how it is done. I feel proud to introduce Mr. Nishant Jairath, who is the Executive Director of Metalman Auto Private Limited. He looks after management of all business related activities, including manufacturing, marketing, and sales operations, and is the engine of business with an innovation driven approach. With his business acumen and active involvement over last 14 years, Metalman has grown into a one-stop shop for all fabrication needs for the major automotive OEMs. Metalman is actively contributing to the industry with sheet metal and tubular parts, fabricated assemblies, and also load bearing components. With multiple manufacturing sites across the nation, with capabilities in robotic welding, machine shop, press shop, assembly, and laser cutting, and many more. Metalman is catering to the major automotive OEMs like CNH, Bajaj Auto, Harley Davidson, Royal Enfield, to name a few. Metalman is also one of the first and few companies in the industry to employ more than 250 robots in the welding automation. So, Mr. Jairath, it's our pleasure to have you with us today. Welcome to Metal Cutting TV.
Thank you so much, Sachin. It's a pleasure to be on this platform, sharing about my journey and my experiences with your participants and with respect to the people who have interviewed this video.
It's my pleasure, sir. Sir, so would you like to tell us about the journey so far of how Metalman has evolved, as a company over past several decades?
Sure. So let me take you back. I mean, I'm the second generation entrepreneur in this company. So this company was started by my dad and my uncle. It's a family owned and managed company. So there are two families that are responsible for this inculcated growth, the Jairath family and the Bembe family. So this was started in 1976 by my father, who's the managing director of the company, Mr. Navneet Jairath, along with his, very dear friend from school days, Mr. Bikramjit Bembe, who's the chairman. And also, they've been relatives because my mother and my Masi, they've been like twin sisters. So my Masi is married to my Mr. Bembe. So it was initiated in terms of as a family venture in 1976, where the first company by the name of National Industries was established in Ludhiana for surface finishing components. So it started as a nickel plating job shop, wherein they started plated parts for bicycle industry, even for those pressure cookers, handles for the pressure cookers. And growing on from there, an opportunity came in through Kinetic Honda at that point of time to start manufacturing motorcycle, the handlebars for the Kinetic Honda, the accessories for Kinetic Honda. And, in 1986, we established the first plant for Metalman in Indore to cater to Kinetic Honda. So that is where, our growth initiated in the automotive space. And then, because at that point of time, Kinetic Honda was growing, Everybody used to have those scooties, I would call it. So there, the demand came in for another plant. So we established another second plant in Indore to cater to Kinetic Honda. But given our good service to the customer and our capabilities and induction of new technologies at that point of time, we were also given an opportunity by Bajaj. So Bajaj wanted certain components for their Sunny. They had just launched Sunny moped at that point of time. So they gave us an opportunity, and we started with a very humble beginning by setting up a small shop in Aurangabad to cater for about only about 200, 300 motorcycle frames or chassis, as we call it. And that is where the major growth in came in. And we continue to grow our presence with one single customer, Bajaj Auto. And over the years, apparently, for all given reasons, Kinetic Honda, diminished from the radar. And that whole business model was changing to catering to heavy fabrication business. So there, in that region, Case had a facility. So the whole business model from light fabrication was moved on to heavy fabrication. We started catering to that business, and that still operates as a different business vertical in the entire Metalman fraternity. I would say that our major growth happened with Bajaj Auto in the Aurangabad region from one plant to, currently we're having 4 plants. And with Bajaj, they have considered not only Metalman, but the entire vendors are not their vendors. They are their partners. They are partners in their journey in the entire growth. So this inclusive growth happened with Bajaj. And Bajaj was very much instrumental in driving automation across their own entire value chain. So they took up a challenge of, taking what is generally fabrication is considered as a dirty industry, where you get your hands dirty. So they thought, okay, that let us take this as a challenge and bring it to a par where it is considered as equivalent to a machining industry, where you have CNCs and VMCs. And not only from that perspective, but also from the perspective of getting a better quality product and at a cost competitive price, and less dependency on the manpower. So there the drive for automation started. We implemented our first robots almost about in 2005 or 2006. I was fairly new to the business at that point of time. So this initiative was driven by Bajaj. And that is where they decided that now the entire frame would be automated, would be robotic welded. Now when you say robotic welding, of course it says generally people have this presumption that you simply put a robot and you get to do a welding. It's not that. You have to work a lot towards it, because the child part has to be of a good quality, because a robot knows a straight line to weld, right? So that part has to be properly mated for in order to do it. So a lot of work was done on the child part quality. And overall the essence of the industry changed over number of years. And looking at that, the kind of good work what we had done in Aurangabad, especially pertaining to automation and less dependency on the skilled manpower, we were cherry picked by the other OEMs as well in past 5 years. So we were lucky to have an opportunity from Hero. We were lucky to have an opportunity from RE and TVS, and we had to set up shops all across their facilities. So we set up a plant in Hosur, we set up a plant in Chennai, we set up a plant in Daruheda here in NCR, and this growth happened over only in past 5 years. So automation, investment in the automation led to a spurious growth. And this is how Metalman has grown from a very humble beginning of sales of maybe less than 100 crores, almost about 7 years, now touching a base of almost 1100 crores in top line in past 5 years. Yeah, so that's about Metalman. And apart from this, we've also established joint ventures with another company called Microturners, again an Indian home born and bred company. This partnership was also instigated by Bajaj. It has its own reasons for this JV, and that also continues to grow with Metalman, and that's called Metalman Microturner. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really great, because most of the times what happens that when people see an established business. They see the websites, they see the buildings, they see the people who are wearing good clothes, and what they don't see is actually the hard work which has gone behind. Like
Yeah.
you mentioned, there were a lot of activities, footwork which was done. So all these things, combine, and that is something which actually makes the companies big to say, big. I mean, so to say,
Yeah.
and that also actually, kind of proves the fact that there is no substitute to hard work. So, I mean, really kudos to you and your team who has done really, great job and turning it into such a brand which is kind of established in a particular category and people really value it. So, thank you so much for the explanation. Mr. Jairath, would you also like to elaborate more on the infrastructure you have and your manufacturing capabilities, and what kind of specifically the proposition you have, for different industries?
Yeah. So primarily, I would say that we have two diversified businesses. Of course, we are into automotive primarily. We call ourselves as glorified welders. Let me put it this way, right? Glorified because we use robots. Uh, our business world, we have two business verticals. One is light and medium fabrication, which generally caters to the automotive space, and then there is one part which is heavy fabrication, which caters to the off road segment, like probably like skates or tractors, which are not there on the mainstream roads. So in the light fabrication and the medium fabrication side, we are catering to primarily two-wheeler space and three-wheeler space. Your major customers are Bajaj, TVS, REML, Hero, BMW, Harley Davidson, and alike. So I would say we've sort of reached nirvana in two-wheeler space. In three-wheeler, we are catering primarily to two-wheeler, to Bajaj Auto. For four wheelers, our focus has been on exports. Because when we said that as a strategy, we decided that we don't want to, target businesses which do not have any kind of technology or any kind of, value addition to it. So we have been very much focused in terms of our four-wheeler strategy, and we've been catering to Renault Dacia in Europe primarily, and also from we are not very much present in commercial vehicle. Very little business of us is present in commercial vehicle. Talking about the off-road vehicle segment, we have one plant. In fact, now two plants. The new plant is it's just commenced operations in Indore. So Indore is the base for heavy fabrication. There we are making driver cabins for excavators and backhoe loaders. We are also catering to the tractors. So we do driver cabins for the tractors there. We also do some heavy fabricated products like booms, loader arms, towers, assemblies. In the automotive space, our major products are motorcycle frame, generally also referred as chassis. Um, we also have exhaust systems. We do all the accessories. So basically, primarily anything that is made of sheet metal or tube, and there is a fabrication to it, we do that. What makes our business model unique is we act as a one-stop shop. You also introduced us with respect to the same. So what do we mean by one-stop shop? It's like where we do the end-to-end solution. So we make the frame, we paint the frame, and we also assemble the frame. So we put about 70 odd components and give it as a sub-assembly to the customer. So customer only fits the engine, the wheels, and the other critical components. And so that's what our capability and products are. From capability side, we are known for our welding. We are known for our surface treatment. So we do not only CED painting, we do powder coating, we do nickel chrome plating. We do also, and that because that's our niche. That's where we had our beginnings from nickel chrome plating, and that's very close to our top management as well, because that is where they have built such an empire on the foundation of surface finishing. So we that comes as our expertise. We also have our in-house tool rooms all across plants. We do a lot of machining. So we have invested a lot of money in low-cost automation also. where entire end-to-end processes are manless. So to give you an example, we are one of the largest producer of these headrest rods. You have on your cars, right? So that's a safety critical component, because in case of a crash, if your head, it has to have a proper support, and if it breaks, you will have a lot of complications. So from that perspective, these headrest rods are being manufactured in Ludhiana. There is no very high-end technology here. It's been all niche, manufactured, homegrown technology to create these notches to lock that in place. So, from the machining perspective, so that is all homegrown, and that is also one of our core specialization that we possess within the company. Over the years, Sachin, what has happened is that like automation has really helped us. Apart from hard work, there are two other things that I would want to touch base on. One is automation, hard work, and also good manufacturing practices, or generally what is referred as manufacturing excellence. Break it down into lean, TPM, various other QMS, and other methodologies that have been predominantly there. So these have been our foundation, for the inculcate growth. And over the 5 years, this growth from 100 crores to 1100 crores has come because of these strong foundations. Now, looking at it, of course, we understand that this has helped us to be here. Now, in order to go on to a different level, we are working on other segments in terms of introducing digitization, or industry 4.0 into the companies, and able to drive this in for the next inclusive growth. So yeah.
Thank you so much. I think it's really fascinating. I mean, the things which you have just told me, and then you have a future plan also. Keeping the industry 4.0, Internet of Things, and all those futuristic technologies which people talk about a lot now. So definitely, I mean, my best wish is that it is going to be soon kind of 500 crore, 5,000 crore company from 1100 crores. We also noticed that you have heavily invested in research and development recently. So, would you also tell us what is your vision? I mean, having invested that kind of amount in research and development, what is your vision and growth strategy for maybe about next 5 to 10 years?
See, our investment pertaining to R&D, I mean, if you look at our business model is not a product-based model, where a customer comes to us and he says that, I want this product, right? It is more built to print, where a customer comes with a set of drawings and he says, this is what I want, this is what you need to do. So our investment in the R&D has been primarily from the process side or the operations side, how we can weld better, right? How can we use machine learning for the robot to autocorrect itself? Also from the perspective of new technologies in welding, so without using bifilar material, or having laser welding, doing laser welding, or pertaining to even doing aluminium welding, because later that not today, but that shift is going to happen tomorrow, where MIG welding might be outdated in terms of the recent technologies. We've seen that in laser cutting, from CO2 gas cutting. Now we are, from CO2 laser to now fiber laser, right? So that evolvement. So our investment has been on those technologies in the R&D, and that is what we've been doing. We are trying to, experiment with welding different materials, hybrid materials, hybrid welding solutions. So that is the kind of work what we've started doing in these R&D centers. There are others also that we have also been trying to create our own machines, where we have been generally what we refer as SPMs. So able to leverage those by following patents over those SPMs. We are also one of these companies in India where we have a technology to reuse nickel from the existing bath, right? So those kind of technologies, those kind of experiments are currently happening in the R&D center. And we are seeing a good shift already happening when it comes to exports, right? Our customers are already asking us, the accessories that were earlier there in sheet metal, in the regular ERW tubes, now being moving towards aluminium, right? So we have to be progressive with respect to our operations. So the entire shift is happening, trying out those technologies in the R&D.
Rightly said. Mr. Jairath, we would also be interested to understand it is, and it is really vital also at this point. I mean, under current pandemic, how are you managing, all the operations, and do you see some kind of effects on the business? And what do you think? I mean, how long is it going to take to, recover from this particular problem or situation? What's your view on that?
See, for us at Metalman, what becomes two things are the paramount, more important to us is employee safety and at the same time customer demand, right? Able to cater to customer demand. We cannot offset one for the other. Both have to go hand in hand, and that's what the entire industry is doing. So what we started doing earlier, we never had like a complete off. Even when the manufacturing lines were not working, the company was working. People were working from home. They were evolving in terms of, we were utilizing that time for standardizing our operations, working on our weaknesses in terms of, what has been like. For example, if I talk about my company, one of the major weaknesses was, delivering product, the new product. A lot of experimentation takes place during new product, how to get things right the first time. So that was one of our weaknesses, and we worked over that with our entire set of people. And now I would say that, post the COVID, or post this lockdown, not the COVID, but post the lockdown, I would say that that has come out as one of our major strengths. So from the non-manufacturing side, we've been working on instances like this, where we've been working on our weaknesses and, turning them into our strengths. This is just one of example I shared with you. Second, pertaining to what I said, was pertaining to getting people back onto the shop floor. We always knew that there's going to be a challenge, right? We might put in our best efforts to contain this disease within our four walls of the organization, but what an employee is doing outside those four walls is also of importance to us. So what we did as a unique initiative was we tied up with another startup called Dror, DROR, and we created a specialized app, on the similar lines of Arogya Setu, which is an app only for Metalman employees. And so there it tracks an employee in terms of, if he's staying for a very long time in a containment zone, his app would have an orange status, and he cannot come to a plant until it's a green status. So he needs to speak to an HR, in order to be able to give his explanation, or able to divulge more details. And then the HR has the authority to either turn it green or red. So if it's red, he cannot come to the plant. And it's applicable for everybody. Now I can show you, even as a top boss, even I'm supposed to do that. You can see that my status shows orange and green. Orange means that I have to speak to the HR to seek the permission. And why does it say so? Because I've given a self declaration that I've traveled in past 15 days from Ludhiana. So my HR spoke to me, and then they allowed, in terms of, so that the entire, so this deployment of this app from all levels of the people, taking necessary precautions, maintaining social distancing, providing the requisite support. We've started randomly doing these tests, for the people who are vulnerable to the disease, especially for the people who are above the age of 50, doing the antibodies test on a random basis. All these initiatives from the safety perspective, because to cater to the customer's demand, it was important that we have people back onto the shop floor. And I'm glad to say, like what I shared with you in the past also, is that at least 80 to 90% people are back on the shop floor, and we are able to deliver to our customers' demand. Yeah. And overall, from my perspective of what you asked was, how do I see pandemic? I think it's what everybody's been saying. I'm no different. It's the new normal. You have to adapt to it. The disease is not going to go away anytime soon. But I think it's more important that we kill the social pandemic more than the medical pandemic. And I think that social pandemic graph has already started going up. People's adaptability to live with the disease gripe is going up, and that is more important. More that goes up, the medical will always remain straight until we have the requisite while for it to and that's the journey. It's going to take a years, but we got to live with it. So we are continuing to do that, taking necessary precautions. Yeah.
Super. I think the approach which you have taken is quite kind of proactive, I would say, and if other industries are also following it, and the people sooner come back to the normal or the new normal, I would say. And it is really I mean a great thing which you have started. So I mean
Yeah.
I really want to appreciate you for that.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Jairath, I think with this I am done with my questions, and I would like to say thank you for investing your time today with us. And on behalf of our viewers and the Metal Cutting TV team, I wish you a very good luck and also a very huge success to your company, Metalman Auto. So,
Thank you.
thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Sachin. Thank you. Hello, everyone. It's my humble request for everyone to follow metalcutting.tv on LinkedIn, and do not forget to subscribe them on their YouTube channel for updates. Thank you.